the largest opportunity that we have seen in our lives is this opportunity. At least for the last decade, I've never seen such a demand. For any SME, you want to increase your sales, you can qualify on attend leads 24/7. You can lower your campaign marketing investments. You can have the first step on your future of AI employees. It seems like we are in a fiction movie, but that is possible.
Lauta, it's great to have you here. Thanks for joining the Latitud podcast.
Thank you very much, Tommy. It's great to be here.
Let's kick it off. I want to start by focusing on a small topic, AI opportunity in Latin America. Today, you're here as the founder CEO of Darwin AI, your new company. But let's start by focusing on your journey as the former co-founder of Sirena, your previous company. You've been basically working LatAm with software and SMEs for over 10 years now. What was that like? And basically, what made you now start this new company focusing crucial AI component?
Yeah, it's a great way to start any conversation, I think, about Darwin, because Darwin, our current company, is like the result of a decade. I like to say a decade because it's more than 10 years, a decade in your head, you know? So we started measuring in decades our our time together with my business partner, Ezequiel. So yeah, we've been working for a decade together in LatAm, specifically in the SMBs market. Like we were trying to create in 2014 and 2015 a car dealership marketplace. We were trying to sell new cars in Brazil. And while working with car dealerships as partners, we discovered that they struggled to contact leads. By that time in 2014, 2015, they only contacted 50% of the digital leads, customers really, and they took like more than 1 day for contacting them through call. At that time they used to call customers. Today is WhatsApp. So we encountered that pain in 2015, 2014, and we've been working around that with the same market for a decade. In 2016, we started integrating the phone calls of the businesses. We integrated all the leads of the business, and we notified all the sales team at the same time in the store. And the one who first calls got the lead. So Sirena started in 2016 as a simple solution for lead distribution. We call it like the Uber for leads. And it grew up to $1 million in annual recurring revenue in 2 years, in 2016 and 2017. And we raised a Series A of $3 million in 2018. And that was like a huge Series A for by that time. And we discovered that WhatsApp was the main communication tool for businesses in LatAm. It's funny because today it's obvious, like we all use WhatsApp for everything in our lives. But in 2018, it was difficult to see that.
Especially in business interactions, I guess.
Because any store in LatAm, more than half of the managers or owners thought that WhatsApp was a distraction. Because they used to say like, okay, you enter into WhatsApp and you get distracted with your personal life, friends, memes, or anything. We thought, okay, we need to integrate WhatsApp to solve the real problem of the communication. And the great thing about WhatsApp was that you could try to be a part of the communication with your software. You could like record everything that was said into your software. So that was like innovation in 2018. By the end of 2018, we launched the first WhatsApp CRM integrated to the WhatsApp official API. Was made for Fortune 50 companies, not for the SMB market. WhatsApp launched their API only for notifications to users and for customers such as American Airlines or Bank of America. We struggled to integrate the API. We integrated like 8 or 10 business service providers, WhatsApp official BSPs. And we launched a tool for managing all your WhatsApps in one place, especially for sales. But if you're an SMB, you don't have like 5 softwares, so you probably use the same tool for post-sales. But sales is always the priority. So from 2019 to 2022, we scaled that software and we surpassed $15 million in annual revenue. and we serve more than 3.5 thousand customers in more than 25 countries across LatAm. In 2020, Sirena was acquired by Sembia.com. Sembia is a big player of the communications of LatAm. And we went public together on 2021 on NASDAQ under NASDAQ SEMB. So Sirena was a great journey because with a simple, super simple and small pain, it seems to be small, but on the day to day, it's a huge pain.
Thanks for that, and congrats on that journey. It is basically on top of that you're creating now Darwin AI, your new company, right? Which you created
Yeah,
basically a year ago.
I think that after 10 years of trying to solve the communication problem between businesses and customers, we discovered that the problem is not solved. Like Sirena was a great tool. Any SMB can like manage their communication inside any software such as Sirena. But the problem is that if you are a customer today trying to buy, for example, a car or an apartment, this is a very expensive product. You leave your data or you try to contact the business through WhatsApp, and you don't get like a fast response, a great reply. And that happens because there is a complex situation with the amount of leads that these SMBs are attending every day. Like it is growing day to day. They attend like thousands of leads per month, some of them thousands of leads per day, and only a small percentage of their leads will end up buying the product. So in order to avoid frustration of the sales team, they have like two teams, like a lead qualification team and a sales team. So they pre-qualify the lead with someone that is junior. So probably that employee like doesn't know the product that is selling. The reply to the lead is not the best reply, and they have a lot of delay. So when generative AI came out in 2022, 2023, we started thinking about trying to really solve the problem, but to be the owners of the whole communication with AI, positioning Darwin as a no prompt or zero prompt solution. Like you have coding, you have low coding, you have no code, you have drag and drop, you have prompt, and I think that you will have no prompt. That is an AI that learns by itself. So when you explain how your product works as an employee and not as a platform and not as a software, it's much easier to sell, but it obviously is tough to implement. So that's why I think that you need investment. You need to be backed by VCs to try to really solve this problem on the best way possible.
And I heard you say you're selling it not as software, not as a platform, but as employees, right? And that will pose amazing questions in terms of business models, like pricing tiers, like.
Yeah.
And I think we're so early in the development of AI and Gen AI that we don't know, like, right? Like if you look at 99, people didn't really understand what the business models would be, right? And we're so early that that's still to be defined. But it's interesting that you're already pitching that to as small as me in Sao Paulo or in Buenos Aires or in Mexico.
And it's fun because when you put your product in production, you discover that it's not a software. Like you are not selling software, you are selling an employee. And when you think of your product as an employee, you change the way that you work because your product, your software is making decisions. Like this is the first time that software is making a decision to solve a problem in a communication problem, for example. So you obviously have more value there. I think that the total addressable market of any software like grew by, I don't know, 5 times or 10 times only because you are going after a real solution to the problem, or you are being a new workforce,
Right. The TAM suddenly is like payroll, total payroll.
Yeah.
Not total, but yeah.
So last year in June, we were free from any kind of work. We took a sabbatical after the end of the earner period in Sirena. And with one of my former business partners, Ezequiel, we started calling some of our friends in LatAm that are business owners. And we called like 40 companies. And we were surprised because like 90% of them already knew about AI because they're seeing, they're using TikTok or Instagram and they're seeing everything about AI. And they they already knew that this pain can be solved implementing generative AI into their processes, integrated to WhatsApp, Instagram, and phone calls. So we asked them why you are not implementing AI right now, and they respond like, okay, I try to implement it, but I have like two options. One is coding. Like I need developers. So if you need developers and you are an SMB, you probably won't do it because the only developers that they have is like someone using, I don't know, Salesforce or an internal tool, or they some of them joke about the like having the like their developer is the printer guy, like this guy that is trying to fix stuff in the business. And the second option that they have is drag and drop. This complex tool that is a canvas, and you need to drag and drop stuff and try to integrate stuff in your business. And they say, okay, I don't have techie people or developers to use these kind of tools, but I need to solve the problem implementing AI as soon as possible, because if my competitor implements AI, I can I can stay alive. So I be outcompeted. So in June last year, we started a company aiming for creating an AI agent, an AI employee that can learn by itself in the company and can gather feedback over time from their coworkers or their bosses in the in the business, and can fully attend the customer, qualify it, and escalate it to the sales team when is the right time to do it. So obviously, at the beginning, you can do an AI that can learn fully by itself. So you have a human on the loop, onboarding, creating the AI for the customer, and iterating any kind of feedback. But the whole idea about Darwin is that a few years from now, we think that you will have an AI employee for some parts of your business that will be a customer-facing employee that will have direct contact with your customer through WhatsApp, through Instagram, and through phone calls. And the first place in which you want to implement AI, if you're an SMB, is sales. But then when sales works, you want to implement the same AI in post-sales or other parts of the businesses. So yeah, we raised $400,000 in June with Latitude and FJ Labs and some agents. And we started selling very fast the first customers. So by September and October, we raised another round of $2.1 million to try to really scale this product during 2024. And it has been a really crazy ride, because we never seen such a growth and such a demand for a new technology and a new product. And at least for the last decade, I've never seen such a demand. I think that the reason for that is that AI is really solving the problem at the end of the day. But it's not easy to implement, right? So you need to have a tool.
Lauta, so if you had to think of the AI opportunity in Latin America, right, versus basically what we're seeing in the US and Silicon Valley in terms of innovation, of new companies being built, I guess you can think of different layers in the AI stack, right? You can look at foundational models, LLMs. You can look at infrastructure plays. You could look at the application layer, right? What do you think that we'll see in LATAM? Do you think we'll see teams building across these all different layers? Do you think we see more activity and more success in a specific layer? What's your thought about that?
Yeah, I think that the first thing that you need to consider is you need to think about betting or not into the success of AI. Like in Darwin, we are betting that AI will succeed, and we think that AI models will get cheaper and faster and smarter in the coming years. Uh, I like to think that as a Moore law for AI models. If we experiment something similar to Moore law, I don't know the chart that we will have, but if you experiment something similar to that, you can start building on top of the solution that you already see in the market that are working. So you have an LLM layer or a technology stack for AI, but you have pains on top of that, even with the smarter models or with any kind of better technology that we will see in the future with AI. The problem that businesses will encounter is hallucination due to lack of context. So imagine that you get the smartest person that you know in the world or the smartest AI that you can think of, and you put it in front of a customer without any context. It will fail. The problem that businesses will encounter and will face is context. So I think that there will be a technology layer related with AI, LLMs, etc. And then you will find on top of that a new interface product for getting context and managing that AI that is attending the customer. So you're going to be the boss of this employee, of this AI employee, and you need to give feedback, negative, positive. You need to give orders like, I don't want you to keep attending this customer. Please stop the conversation, or escalate this customer to this team member. Or this employee will want to ask doubts about how to do something on the day-to-day life. So that kind of things that I'm talking about is the things that are a huge opportunity for LatAm entrepreneurs, I think, because in Latin America, it is difficult to access to a huge amount of funding. So it is difficult to build the technology stack for building AI, but you can build a solution that will give context to the AI to solve the day-to-day problems. I like to say that if you go to a business and you try to do the work of the AI by yourself, you will need to ask doubts to your coworkers. If you go, for example, and on your first day of work as a sales team, as a sales person, they will say, if you have any doubt, you need to ask Carlos, I don't know, Juan, Maria. And that person will give you the right answer because he's the best salesperson in the business. So you depend on that person to know what you need to do. And I think that AI can do the same thing. Like we are thinking about Darwin to be a coworker, and Darwin will ask doubts to coworkers. And the same thing can happen in any kind of business in LatAm. If you are a lawyer, for example, you will have an AI that is an AI lawyer, and will need to ask context about the customer, about the problem, about the local laws. So the biggest opportunity in LatAm today, I think, is on the context layer. And it's like the new interface for this new technology. Then you will probably have, in this layer, integrations to the systems of the company, of the SMB, of the business, the ERP or the CRM. But the question that I really have for the future is if AI will be integrated to the CRM or to a system of records, or the system of records or to a system of resources, or there is another option in which the AI will replace and be the disruptor of the structural system of these businesses. Because in any business, you have like two types of systems, a system of records and a system of resources. And I think that the AI has the potential to be the total disruptor of the technology stack,
Mostly horizontal solutions, or do you think we'll see real verticalization like we're seeing in vertical SaaS in general terms?
In Latin America, the market is not as big as the US market, for example. If you think in terms of a vertical solution, sometimes you don't have like a super large addressable market. So I think that it depends on the market. I don't like to talk about industries. I prefer to talk about use cases. So in terms of vertical or horizontal, I think that you will see different opportunities depending on the niche. For example, if you are talking about a consultative sales product, you can work with different types of industries, but the pain and the use case is consultative sales. And in AI, you are building an employee, and this employee has the same process and the same way of work for one type of business and the other type. The most important part is that it's a consultative sales industry-like business. And then you will have transactional businesses that are probably different in their processes, and this employee will need to perform differently. So I like to divide the market into transactional or consultative businesses. And if you go after transactional businesses, you probably will see more verticalization because you will have a high amount of conversations, uh, and you will need like, and you will sell like low ticket products, and the most important part will be like close the whole transaction into the conversation. So you will probably integrate like data and prices and anything, and you will replace the employee totally. So in those markets, I think, like, for example, restaurants, hotels, I think that you will see like one AI solution for each of them. And when you talk about higher tickets and lower amount of SKUs, I think that you will see solutions trying to solve this interaction with coworkers, and probably you will see horizontal solutions. And there is another point of view to this kind of question, that is the system of records and the system of resources. Like all SMBs in Latin America and all businesses in Latin America and in any kind of market, they pay for two systems a lot of money. Like the system of resources, that is a system that manages the operations and the day to day of the business, really. And the system of records, that is the customer facing tool that has all the information about their customers, and also the communication today, like they're integrated with the communication tools. So I think that you will find at least two AIs in all segments of the market. One AI that will be the disruptor of the communication and of the system of records, and another AI that will be the disruptor of the system of resources. So for example, let's take a lawyer to try to analyze this market. If you are a law firm and you are a software on the legal tech segment, you will find like two AIs. One AI that will try to imitate the lawyer work, how to analyze a case and what decisions you need to make. And another AI that will have all the data of the customer and will try to convert more sales and gain more like more money, and they're really different from each other. So in all segments of the market, you will see both solutions. And if you go after the system of records, the resources, the AI that will disrupt the system of resources will be a very vertical play, because you need to integrate a specific dynamics of that segment. If you go after the system of disruption and the communication facing disruption, you will see a more horizontal play, in my opinion, because you will face similar problems in different custom kind of customers.
I totally agree, and I think on the vertical side, building upon that data, those databases, you might start to see some niche small models improving underwriting, whether that's in lending and financial services, or whether that's in insurance, risk, healthcare. So I think we might see that in those more verticalized integrations, we might start seeing some smaller models too. And of course, like in our portfolio, in the Latitud portfolio, we had the case of Hyperplane, which was building foundational models for large financial institutions, for banks, and got recently acquired by Nubank. Kind of on that's yeah. What's your
No,
reaction to that? Yeah.
yeah, no, and that's great because you also will see foundational models on on the system of resources disruption, and on the system of records, you will probably see startups using LLMs and other providers. But if you try to analyze, also, if you need to be a co-pilot or a pilot, I think that you will see co-pilot startups in the internal tools, and you will see pilot startups in the customer facing and system of records disruption.
I've heard you say many times, heard you talk about this framework. You call it the meta sandwich, right? And it relates to something you've been mentioning, which is basically customer segments, right? Like besides the layers, besides the verticalization or horizontality of a company, in terms of go to market, of course, you could be going enterprise, you could be going mid market, SME, or into solo entrepreneurs and micro businesses if you want. Um, could you tell us a little bit where you think potentially the most interesting opportunity could be in LatAm for AI first companies, or at least what you think for you guys is the most interesting segment.
Yeah, yeah. The Meta sandwich, the concept started with Meta because we visited Meta in 2019,
And by Meta, of
and
course, we're referring to the holding company of Facebook, Instagram, and
yeah,
WhatsApp.
by that time I remember having like 1,000 WhatsApp lines connected to Sirena, our tool, and I remember that they told us like that not that is not a lot, and they told us, okay, your strategy, you are going to the mid market, and we have a strategy for going after the enterprise market and also a strategy for going to the micro businesses market, and we will see which one wins, you know. So I say, can you explain me more about that? And they say, okay, we have like this sandwich in which you have like the enterprise market on the top, and on the bottom you have like the micro businesses or the B2C market. And they say, okay, WhatsApp was by that time developing the API for the enterprise market, but they had like a plan for going down, developing, for example, the WhatsApp Cloud API solution. And in the micro businesses market or the B2C, they had like the WhatsApp app and the WhatsApp business app. And they were planning to add features for that to go up market, like, for example, multi user on the WhatsApp app. So they tell me, okay, you will have this sandwich, and we will try to meet at the middle, and we don't know which solution will grow with faster. So after that talk, I started thinking about the market as a sandwich, you know, like in which the SMB and the mid market is always at the middle, and it's always late, you know, because if you're a medium business, like you always get late to any kind of technology. And with AI, it's happening like the same. If you go, for example, and analyze OpenAI, you will see that they have like this sandwich as well, in which they have like the enterprise API market, and they're going after huge companies and trying to integrate their API and outcompete Gemini, Google, etc. And then when you go and see like the bottom, they have the OpenAI tool, the chat GPT for all, with a cheap price. So, and the same thing is happening with Google. They have like AI tools for free integrated to their products, and they also have on the top an enterprise strategy. But when you see the mid market, like no one is really going after with a strong energy from, I'm talking about the big tech company like Microsoft, Facebook, or Meta, OpenAI. So I think that there is a huge opportunity on the mid market because they are super disorganized, and AI needs context and organization and data. So they lack of everything that they need to have in order to use AI. So they will probably pay a lot of money to stay competitive. Um, and if you also combine that situation with the emerging market situation, I think that the best, or at least the segment that I like the most, is emerging markets SMBs. Because in emerging markets, you have high penetration of WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is asynchronous. You have audio, you have files, PDFs, images. So the experience that you can create with AI using WhatsApp, it is much better than any other channel, such as email, for example, that is more complex. And if you go to emails, for example, it knows you will never find something synchronous. And if you go to phone calls, you need to be fully on sync. And the problem with that is that you can't be like a smart AI model. So the sweet spot for implementing AI, I think that is in SMBs and emerging markets using WhatsApp. Um, and obviously for me and for Ezequiel, my business partner, like the most like the largest opportunity that we have seen in our lives is this opportunity, like going after the mid markets and integrating the WhatsApp tool that can be used for any kind of processes in the business, you know.
And Lauto, but a quick follow up question, right? So what you're saying is the meta sandwich, what it says is in terms of product, but also in terms of distribution, the two ends of the sandwiches, the two breads, los panes, they will be probably won by the large tech companies, or it will be a very hard competed market. But a question I have for you: if SMEs in Latin America are already using WhatsApp as a key business tool, wouldn't Meta be able to push their AI products, some AI solutions through the WhatsApp for Business product?
At the end of the road, so I'm talking about a lot of years from now, at least you have time, but at the end of the road, Meta will go after SMBs, I think, the mid market. But uh, I think that you will probably have time to integrate the workflows and the processes and the tools and the context of those businesses before that. And each time you get a feedback as an AI tool from a user, like each time a business owner is giving feedback to an AI, he's building a knowledge base on that AI because he's saying to the AI, okay, don't do that when this thing happens. So when Meta will try to get there, they will face like there will be, I think, they can be outcompeted because of the huge amount of context that you will have and the large amount of integrations and workflows on top of your software. The problem with the top part of the sandwich and the bottom part is that you won't have time. Meta, I think that Meta will penetrate the B2C niche really fast. And on the enterprise side, you will have the large tech companies and also Globant or other consultative firms that will go after large customers with a custom made solution,
Yeah,
not with a product, you know?
we're seeing a lot of that, right? Not only the large big tech kind of starting to capture some of the value, but also the large consulting companies capturing some of the value.
Yeah.
You just said value, like Lauto, you're already selling into the market. You'll share a little bit about the numbers, but what are the main value you're actually delivering today to SMEs and that they recognize it? And what's basically the main challenge that you're seeing in their demands?
Yeah, the main value I think that is we are being the first AI, the first customer facing AI that they implement in their life because this is a new technology. And we are starting on the most important problem that is sales. For them, like for any SME, is you want to increase your sales. So when you implement Darwin as a lead qualificator, for example, you can qualify and attend leads 24/7. You can increase your qualification ratio. You can lower your campaign marketing investments because you can have marketing at any time of the day, like 24/7 campaigns. And you can have the first step on your future of AI employees. After they implement their first sales AI, they want to implement the same technology into post sales. Like they want to know what happened to the customer after buying their products, or they want to have a customer that comes again. So they want to recontact other customers. So the first thing that you solve is to attend a huge amount of leads 24/7. But then you start thinking about how to implement this technology into any kind of customer facing communication problems. Today we're focusing on AI, but we think that in the future we will probably solve all the customer facing communication for these SMBs. And what we are seeing is like each time you face a mistake or an hallucination, you can develop ways of avoiding that in the future for future customers.
My next question was about like competition and what modes, what defensibility you see you could build out. And you've been telling me that you think that there's something around hallucination. So you seem to be touching.
Yeah, because I see that in the next 5 years, imagine that in 2029 you go after an AI solution. It will be like going to the airport and choosing between two planes and two pilots. Like the plane is the AI model and the pilot is the AI, the tool that you are buying, you know? And imagine that one of the pilots started like last month and the other one has been on the air and flying for 5 years. You will probably want to go with the most experienced one So the same will be with AI, we think, because when you put your AI on production, there are a lot of things that you don't know that can go wrong. You have this unknown problem. So you need to go on production, to go live, to discover potential problems, to develop defensibilities to avoid that. And each problem that you discover, each hallucination, you can solve it with prompting or with functions on top of the AI, and you can solve it forever. So when we started putting Darwin on production, we discovered like a lot of tons of problems, and we are really thankful with our first customers that they were patient for the AI to get better and better. But today we're seeing that that problem rate is almost zero, and you can give like a super good product with non-hallucination. And there is a mode, I think, or a potential mode or defensibility on that, on knowing the problems that the AI could face and solving them beforehand, because you as a customer, you don't know what problem you can have with the AI in production, but I already know before you coming with me, and I will solve them before they will happen.
I know your girlfriend has a tea shop in downtown Sao Paulo. Hopefully, she wasn't one of the first customers, and you gave some hallucination in the tea,
Yeah.
But no, of course we appreciate those early and patient customers.
Yeah, we started with our
Um,
own tea shop, and that was really tough. And when you use AI on your own business, you feel on your body, the anxiety of putting your customer on the hands of AI. Anything can
yeah,
happen. And
yeah,
if you want to implement AI, because of anything can happen, you need the best partner, the best solution, and the most trained pilot.
yeah. Makes sense. My pun was around tea and hallucination not being a great combination of elements, but it's just about joke. Lauta, so like getting to the end here, the last question about Darwin in itself. What can you share in terms of the current offerings and the numbers and what's next for you guys?
In terms of what's next, I think that in 2024, we want to surpass $1 million in annual run rate. That would be like super fast because less than 2 years of operations. I think that because this technology is growing, is like the largest wave that I've seen in my life. And we want to develop and build around phone calls next year. We already integrated Darwin to Instagram and to WhatsApp, and we started testing out a phone call solution. All communication channels combined can get to a magical solution because you can contact the same customer through different channels, and you can like have a unique strategy for getting a higher response rate and a better service to the customer. And we're planning to consolidate our product next year around LatAm. We are going after Mexico, Brazil, and the LatAm region because WhatsApp is the most important tool, and there is a common way to work in Latin America as a whole. Um, and we plan to start next year, we plan to start testing our auto self-learning AI. Today, everything is driven by humans. We'll have an AI suggestion tool for our own onboarding executive. It will be our own internal tool. And I think that next year we will probably put in production a self-learning loop for our AI, and also a feature for Darwin asking its coworkers, like when Darwin faces something that can answer or solve, Darwin will ask someone in your business, how can I do it? So I think that is crazy. When I think about that, it seems like we are in a fiction movie, but that is possible. And that can be like the next step on having autonomy as an employee inside the SME and having more context to be smarter and solving better problems.
We're getting to the end. I want to let you go back to building. I'd like to end the episode by asking you what makes you the most excited about building AI in Latin America?
I think that is the giving these small and medium-sized companies the opportunity to compete. I think that Mercado Libre, for example, or any large business in LatAm, they will hire like hundreds of developers and hundreds of employees to solve this AI problem. So if you are a company with 100 employees, you will probably face a difficult situation in the next 5 to 10 years. But I think that Darwin will make that better for you because we will try to help you outcompete even Mercado Libre or Amazon with a super smart AI, but with a super simple solution to build that. So I think that's the most important and fun thing to do, I think. And it's also like being inside the movie. I can't believe what AI is doing today. So each day I'm amazed by AI, and I am super I find it fun, like each day is super fun. Like you want to connect to your computer and see what else we can do with this new technology.
I love it, and I think if you're able to increase the productivity of Latin American SMEs by 1%, that will be
Wow,
transformative for the region.
totally,
Thank,
yeah, yeah, and you can probably.
thank you, Lauta. It was great to have you here. Again, very excited to be part of the journey with Darwin AI, and yeah, looking forward to what's to come.
Thank you very much, Tommy. And I think that uh, it's great to have you on board in Darwin because you complement us a lot. We are 100% builders, and now with you, we are builders and also fundraisers, and and we are thinking bigger. And so I really love to have you on board and help us build Darwin.
Thank you, Lauta.